Hey, hello, and welcome to this episode of Learn Everyday English, your roadway to English proficiency. Glad to have you with me today. Going to be talking about 10 surprising facts about Texas that you didn't know. 10 surprising facts about Texas that you didn't know. Hopefully you'll find this video very interesting and you'll learn something. We say you'll learn a thing or two. But before I get into that, there's 3 things you can do for me. Hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and 3, tell your friends about it so that they can benefit from these videos too, just like you. I have my How to Talk Texan ebook out on Amazon. Check out the links below if you're interested in getting a copy of that. And also, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, there's a link below in the description as well, to support the channel and help me out so I can keep bringing you videos like this. Been trying to upload shorts, one short every day, and another kind of something I post where you can answer a question if you know what a word or phrase means, so check those out as well. But let's just jump into today's episode. There are 10 surprising things, or maybe facts, about Texas that you didn't know. Number 1 is Texas was or used to be its own country. Did you know that? It was its own country, and it was called the Republic of Texas from March 2nd, 1836 to February 19th, 1846. And here's a picture kind of what the Republic of Texas looked like on a map. Say way back then. It even had its own president. His name was Sam Houston, and it even had its own navy. Did you know that? Its ships and boats and that type of thing. And the Texas Declaration of Independence was adopted on March 2nd, 1836 at a city maybe like an hour and a half from here where I live called Washington on the Brazos. But the United States actually annexed Texas on December 29th, 1845. And Texas became the 28th state of the Union, we say, or of the United States. But actually the formal transfer ceremony, making it official, the transfer ceremony, didn't take place until February 19th, 1846. So as we say in English, there you go, or there you have it. Texas used to be its own country. All right, the second interesting fact is that Texas has the world's largest honky tonk. Honky tonk. You're probably asking yourself, hey, Gary, I'll put it in these terms. Hey, what the hell is a honky tonk? What the hell is a honky tonk? Well, I'm going to tell you. Well, the name of the honky tonk, before I tell you what a honky tonk is, it's called Billy Bob's. It's the name of the place. And it's located in Fort Worth, Texas, which is kind of near Dallas, Texas. And it covers about 100,000 square feet of space, so it's very big. It has multiple dance floors, live bull riding, if you want to risk your life and ride a bull, maybe. And it has space for over 6,000 people or 6,000 guests. It opened on April 1st, 1981, with a live concert by a very famous group here in the United States called Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers. But to answer your question, a honky tonk is a bar, we could say, that provides a special type of music called country music for the entertainment of the people that are there. The patrons, we say, the guests, or the patrons are the people that go to a bar. We call them patrons. Or actually, honky tonk can also be a style of music. We can say they play honky tonk music at a honky tonk, which is just, like I said, a bar that provides music and maybe other things for its patrons. It's located, like I said, in Fort Worth, Texas, and it offers entertainment for the people that go there. It has live music every night, if you like to listen to music, including country music's biggest stars go there and perform. So you can go there, buy a ticket, get in, and listen to your favorite country music star. And here's a picture. Here's a picture of what it looks like outside. And actually, here's a picture of what it looks like inside to get a kind of glimpse. And it has inside, it has a indoor rodeo arena where they actually have live bull riding. So, like I said, people can actually ride live bulls. It has a Texas-sized or very large dance floor where people can dance. And it also has a restaurant where you can get some food and eat. They have arcade games, games you can play, a wall of fame, gift shop, and a lot of other things. They offer free line dancing lessons. Line dancing is where people kind of line up and they all do a choreographed dance. They all do the same steps, the same dance. That's called a line dance. It's very popular in country music. They have couples dance classes on Sundays. If you're a couple, you can go there, and other events. So here's a picture of people kind of dancing or line dancing there in the world's largest honky tonk, which is called Billy Bob's. And actually, it was named Country Music Club of the Year 12 times, so it's very famous. But to tell you the truth, I actually never heard of it before I made this video, so I learned something new myself. I'm not a big country music or honky tonk fan, so it was interesting to find that out. But the building was originally built in 1910, as an open-air barn for the Fort Worth livestock show. Livestock just means like cows and horses. But some people say, hey, it has a mechanical bull, but it doesn't, because there's a lot of honky tonks in Texas where you can go and ride a mechanical bull. But Billy Bob's doesn't have a mechanical bull because they have the real thing, or we can say they have the real McCoy, You actually can ride a real and live bull and, like I said, maybe risk your life. And they also have live professional bull riding where you can watch people ride the bulls. But that happens every Friday and Saturday night at 8:30, and then at 9:30 you can buy tickets and go watch that. Admission is $6. And but you might want to be asking yourself, can anybody go and ride bulls at Billy Bob's? Can you just walk in? No, there is a requirement because bull riding is a dangerous sport. So the people that want to ride the bulls have to be competitors. They have to be pro or semi-pro athletes or semi-pro bull riders with a valid membership from a recognized bull riders sanctioning organization, such as called the PBR or the PRCA, because, bulls are very large animals. They weigh almost 2,000 pounds, which is 1 ton. And they say the average weight of a professional bull rider in Texas is 150 pounds. So 150 pounds compared to 2,000 pounds, that's a big difference. So you have to be careful when you're riding bulls. The third interesting thing about Texas that you probably didn't know, that it's bigger than many countries in the world. Actually, Texas is larger than France, with a total area of 268,597 square miles. And here's a picture of Texas, and with some countries inside of Texas, so you can see how many countries that you might know of can fit inside of Texas. And here's another map showing Texas over part of Europe, how big Texas would be if you overlaid it in an area of Europe. So it's very large. And actually, if it were its own country, Texas would rank number 39 as the largest country in the world. So Texas is very big. And Texas sits between Zambia, is larger than Texas. Then there's Texas. And then below Texas is Myanmar, or used to be called Burma. So Texas is a very large state. The fourth interesting fact or thing about Texas is that the Texas state capitol is actually taller than the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. The Texas Capitol is located in Austin, Texas, which is the capital of Texas, and it stands 302.64 feet tall, and it's nearly 15 feet taller than the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., which is 288 feet tall. And it's also made from material called pink granite. Well, here's a picture showing the comparison of the Texas state capitol to the U.S. state capitol. But actually, it was, when it was built, the seventh largest building in the world in 1888 when it was built. So that's a pretty interesting fact, and I didn't know that as well. The fifth interesting thing about Texas you probably didn't know, and have you ever had a soda, we say, a soda or soda water called Dr. Pepper? Well, Dr. Pepper was actually invented in Texas in a city called Waco, Texas. And Waco, Texas is about maybe two and a half hours here from where I live. I've been to Waco a couple times. I haven't been to there's actually a museum in Waco called the Dr. Pepper Museum. I've never been there. Maybe next time I go to Waco, I need to check that out. But Dr. Pepper was created in Waco, Texas in 1885. And it's actually older, or we say it predates. It's before Coca-Cola came out by almost 1 year. And so it's the oldest major soft drink in the United States. Did you know that? It was invented by a gentleman named Charles Alderton, who was a pharmacist. And he worked at a place called Morrison's Old Corner Drugstore. And the original name of the drink was called a Waco because it was invented in Waco, Texas. But it was then changed to Dr. Pepper because Wade Morrison, who was the owner of the drugstore, renamed it to Dr. Pepper. And the drink was an instant hit. And customers who would come in and buy it would say, "Hey, shoot me a Waco, or give me a Waco, then give me a Dr. Pepper later on." So there you have it. Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, Texas. The sixth interesting thing about Texas you probably didn't know, Texas has its own Pledge of Allegiance. I know the United States has a Pledge of Allegiance. Maybe most countries may have a Pledge of Allegiance. But the state of Texas has its own Pledge of Allegiance. And it goes something like this. Or this is what it says. It says, "Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible." But the pledge was amended or kind of changed or updated, that's what amended means, by a House bill or a piece of legislation or law during the 80th legislature. And they added the phrase, "one state under God." And that was revised on June 15th, 2007. So there you have it. Texas has its own Pledge of Allegiance. The seventh thing you probably didn't know about Texas, that it has the largest bat colony in the world, the largest bat colony in the whole world. It's located in a cave called Bracken Cave near San Antonio, Texas, which is about 2.5 hours here from where I live. And it's home to more than 20 million Mexican free-tailed bats. So it's the largest bat colony on Earth and a popular tourist attraction. Here's a picture of what it looks like when the bats are coming out of the cave. And actually, I went to this location, this cave, a long, long time ago, probably 20 years ago or more, but it was kind of dark, so it was difficult to see a lot of the bats coming out, but it's kind of located in a secluded location out in a big open area, so you have to walk a little ways, but that was a long time ago. That's another trip I think I need to make again to see this bat colony. Interesting thing about bats, a single Mexican free-tailed bat will eat its weight in bugs or insects each night. Did you know that? Once the pups, which are the little bats or the small immature juvenile bats are fully grown, the bats of the Bracken Cave eat over 100 tons of insects every evening, or 140 tons, excuse me. That's a lot of insects that the bats eat, and they eat mosquitoes. And there's so many bats coming out of the cave that it takes them about 4.5 hours for all of the bats to exit the cave. So that's a lot of bats. And the amount of bats coming out of the cave is so dense, we say, you can actually see it on Doppler radar. You can see it on Doppler radar. The eighth thing that you probably didn't know about Texas, it has a town that has a name of a food dish or a food named after it. And I didn't know this, but the town is called Pancake Texas. Pancake Texas. It's located in Coryell County. I've never been there. And it was named in the late 19th century. But the town, despite its name, isn't famous for pancakes. The city of Pancake contained a post office between 1884 until 1908. And the first postmaster, the person who worked there, was named John R. Pancake, and that's where the name came from. Came from a gentleman who worked there as the first postmaster. But it's not a very large town at all. In 1896, Pancake, Texas had 200 residents, or 200 people. It had a general store and a flour mill, where they made flour, and a gin. Where a gin is where they kind of process cotton. But its population has decreased now to 25 from the 1930s to the 1960s. And the last census information I could find for the year 2000, there were only 11 people living in Pancake, Texas. So it's a very, very small town. Hey, the ninth thing that you probably didn't know about Texas, as it has a law enforcement agency or organization called the Texas Rangers, and they're the oldest law enforcement agency, founded in 1835. And they predate, or they actually come before, the FBI, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They're the oldest statewide law enforcement agency in the United States. They've been involved in major historical events from the Mexican-American War to modern-day investigations. They have a nickname for the Texas. Here's a picture of some Texas Rangers. They have a nickname called the Diablos Tejanos, or Spanish for the Texas Devils. Is an investigative law enforcement agency with statewide jurisdiction, and they're based out of Austin, Texas. They were originally organized way back in 1823 by a gentleman named Moses Morrison and Stephen F. Austin to protect settlers from Native American Indian attacks. That's interesting. They were a loosely organized military force back then that served as a border patrol during the Texas Revolution and as a paramilitary force for the Republic of Texas. What do they do? Or what is their role? We could say their role. What do? They have a variety of roles, including investigating crimes, protecting the governor of the state of Texas, and controlling riots. They also provide expertise to other police agencies in the state of Texas. They receive a lot of specialized training in fingerprinting, photography, hostage negotiations, and criminal investigations. And another interesting thing about the Texas Rangers, they don't have an official uniform like most police do or sheriffs, but many wear conservative business suits and ties. They have a special type of white hat they can wear, kind of like a cowboy hat we call a Stetson hat. And a lot of them may wear cowboy boots. So here's a picture of a modern-day Texas Ranger. And the last thing that you probably didn't know about Texas is that you can actually take a Texas tour of a lot of European cities. Did you know that? because there are quite a few cities in Texas that have names of cities located in Europe. Did you know that? For example, you can have a trip. Here's a map. You can go to Paris, Texas, Dublin, Texas, London, Texas, Florence, Texas, Moscow, Texas, Berlin, Texas, and Vienna, Texas. So there's a running joke. You could say, hey, I took a trip and went overseas, international trip. I went to Paris and Dublin, London, Florence, Moscow, Berlin, Vienna, all over the weekend. And they go, what? How did you do that? I stayed in Texas. So those are 10 interesting things or facts about Texas that you probably didn't know. Or did you know some of those? Hey, let me know in the comments which ones you did know. Did you zero all 10 of them? And let me know. I'd love to hear your comments and how much you knew. All right, I think I'll keep this video short and sweet, as we say in English. So thanks for watching. Hey, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about it. Thanks for watching this episode of Learn Everyday English, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.